Hi and welcome to the Zone.
We're back again.
This is the Fantasy Football Zone, your home
for everything fantasy football.
Hi and welcome to the Zone. This is the Fantasy Football Zone. Of course, your home for everything fantasy football. And today you're hanging out with me, FPL Denosaurus. Of course, this is the solo show where we just preview the journey for Team Denosaurus and how it's panning out so far. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me on the Kronikos of FPL with Denosaurus. It's going to be a very brief show. We're just going to do a brief, analysis of how Gameweek 9 went for Denosaurus, especially the team, and maybe try and focus on the plans that we have in place for Gameweek 10. That should probably help us maybe do a bit better. Without any further ado, we can just dive right in. So Gameweek 9 was a very, very, very interesting game week. I mean, three hat tricks in Gameweek 9. And somehow I managed to miss out on two of them. I think I only got the one that everyone else caught. That is the Salah hat trick. But the other two, Josh King and Mason Mount, I suffered in terms of missing out on those hat tricks. And I think the worst thing that would have possibly happened for my team in Gameweek 9 is the fact that the only Chelsea asset I had did not play, did not feature in that game entirely. And this was Cesar Azpilicueta. So when the likes of Rhys James and Ben Chilwell were bringing home a double haul of 12 points or so, I just had the zero from Azpilicueta to go home with. And I think that should tell you basically how my game week went in terms of the points that I was able to score. A lot of ones in my team, as you can see: Jamie Vardy, Boemo, who else? Ronaldo, Cancelo. I mean, in a game week where people were getting 100 points and beyond, actually majority of the people had 110, 120, that kind of performance. I only managed a measly 84 points. And this is thanks to, of course, Salah especially. Salah single-handedly saved my game week in terms of my rankings would have suffered a lot more had he not had that kind of performance. But the rest of my team was just poor. Of course, you can see Emil Smith-Rowe was the other savior in my team. Other than that, everyone else was just here for a joyride. Oh, also Livramento, the surprise package with a goal again. But you can see Ronaldo 1 point, Vardy 1 point, Cancelo 1 point, Mbuemo 1 point, Azpilicueta 0. Benrahma 3 points. That's literally more than 50% of my team actually blanking. And that was the main reason behind my poor performance. And it's funny that we should say 84 points is a poor performance, but in a game week where everyone is getting above 100, then that 20-point gap between 80 and 100 is huge in FPL. It will make all the difference, and we will see the effects of that points even when we transition to see my rankings and how they suffered from that kind of performance. So yeah, game week 9, I got 84 points, and let's transition to my rankings to see how those 84 points translated in terms of most of the rankings in terms of worldwide and otherwise. So as you can see, my overall points so far are 652. When you add the 84 points of game week 9, my ranking suffered. I was I think ranked 3,000, top 3,000. That is in game week 8. Come game week 9, I'm all the way at 11,000. That is a serious boot. I got a serious boot. And you can see even in the general leagues, it's all red arrows. Arsenal, I was position 100. I'm now position 1,000. That's the difference, that those few differentials, the likes of Mount and Foden and Rhys James and Chilwell, basically the difference they made in terms of rankings. In Kenya, I'm now 109. I was 15 at some point in game week 8, or 50, I think, in game week 8. So yeah, you can see how much my rankings have really suffered. So overall, currently I'm ranking at 11,400. My Squid Game number is player number 11,400 for game week 9. And as you can see in the Invitational Classic Leagues, some red arrows. In the YouTube League, I think I was number 156. I'm now number 655. My goodness. The rare green arrow in that one league, but then the rest of them, you can see I managed to hold on to my top spot position. But if I keep up this kind of performance, it won't be for much longer that you will see those red arrows probably, dotting the whole page or the whole screen in terms of my ranking. So this is the second game week for me in a row to experience red arrows. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to take it in terms of, I'm really feeling the pressure now in terms of every decision is a big one. And you're looking at some of these players and you don't even know who's going to bring in, the point hauls. And it's just time to, I think, get with the program, And you'll see that even as you look at my transfer plan for game week 10. Let's look at my transfer plan so that you can see maybe how I intend to tackle this red arrow problem and hopefully sort out the downfall for FPL Denosaurus. So as you can see, I've highlighted 3 candidates for being transferred out in my team. That is Said Benrahma. Said Benrahma is at this point in time just a joyrider in my team. He stopped bringing in the points. Even when you watch the games, he's not as effective as he was. And of course, probably when I get rid of him is when he's going to decide to do something special. But when you look at his next 3 fixtures, he's coming up against Aston Villa, then Liverpool, then Wolves. All fixtures are not that favorable. Actually, all of them are quite tricky. So if he's been struggling with, the recent 3 or 4 game weeks, I expect him not to do so much when it comes to these upcoming game weeks. So that's why he's one of the contenders in terms of the potential transfer outs from my team. The other one is Jamie Vardy. Of course, we're not too sure at this point in time to the extent to which Jamie Vardy's injury has hit. We don't know if he will feature in that game against Arsenal. Of course, Jamie Vardy loves playing against Arsenal. He has scored in, I think, the last 6-7 fixtures consistently. He against Arsenal is almost like another hurricane. So if he's fit, of course, Vardy is a very good proposition. But then Arsenal have this I think, new defensive, what's the word to use? Solidity at the back. It's like they're not conceding too many goals. In the last 6 fixtures, I think they've only conceded one goal per match, except the Crystal Palace match where they conceded twice. So, of course, even if Jamie Vardy features, it's not a very attractive fixture in terms of maybe him getting too many opportunities on goal or too many scoring opportunities when you consider the form that Arsenal have been in terms of a defensive unit. But yeah, it's Jamie Vardy. If he's fit, he can do something special. But the reason he's facing some chopping board is I'm thinking maybe this can be a good opportunity to benefit from the Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang form. And instead of having a player who's 50-50, I can get a player who's guaranteed to start, and his form sort of guarantees me that he's likely to get some good points, So that's another transfer I'm considering. The last option, of course, is again another Arsenal player, Kieran Tierney, who's an injury doubt at this point in time. He did not feature in that game against Aston Villa. Nuno Tavares, of course, featured on his behalf. And yeah, I'm not too sure going forward. I think Nuno showed some really good performance. He played really well, which might make Arteta maybe feel like there's no need for me to rush Kieran Tierney from his injury. I might as well just have this guy play in that position for a minute. And of course, I'm looking for a bit of balance in my squad. I can't afford to have maybe too many players on injury doubts or Said Benrahma, who I'm thinking is dead wood at this point in time. So I'm thinking of replacing him with Ben White, another Arsenal asset. The beauty of it is Ben White is like 5 million cheaper, 0.5 million cheaper, which can help me, use some funds somewhere else in the pitch. So the idea is to possibly use my one free transfer and take a hit. I've not yet fully processed the thought of taking a hit. So far this season, I've not yet taken a hit, and it has worked out so well for me. I like having to just plan your transfers in a way that you don't necessarily have to take the unnecessary hit. And the thing with hits is that they are so expensive because it will cost you -4 points to get this player, but then they'll have to get like triple that points, maybe 12 points for them to be worth the hit, so that they can give you, they can repay the -4 debt and give you like a +8 kind of score for them to have really been, a necessary signing. But then if you take a -4 for a player and they only score 8 points or 7 points, so you're only 3 points to the good, which of course is not necessarily very significant at this point in time. So I'm yet to fully process that thought of taking a hit, but those are the options that I'm looking at. Mason Mount for Said Benrahma. I don't know how much Mason Mount is guaranteed, to start. Of course, he starred in the one opportunity that he got, but of course, Tuchel is showing that he's not yet fully settled in terms of, okay, he knows his best players, but then the Tuchel roulette is really becoming a problem in that defense. Especially, we're seeing him rotating quite oftenly, and in that midfield, he is spoiled for choice in terms of the talent that he has at his disposal. So we're not too sure whether Mason Mount, because of his stellar performance, is going to feature consistently going forward. But at this point in time, I guess it's a risk worth taking. So Said Benrahma for Mason Mount looks like one of the favorite options for me as a decision to take for Game Week 10. So basically, that's how I am planning to gear up for Game Week 10. Nervous as usual because you don't know what to expect. You don't know what will work out. Of course, I wish at this point in time, I had something like a wild card, which would have been really beneficial for me to just freshen up the squad, because I have a lot of players who I feel like are coming to the end of their good run. And of course, I need a more comprehensive plan in terms of being able to replace them. Otherwise, I am left with deadwood that I either take a hit for, or I just hope that somehow they produce out of nowhere. But there are many players that are really coming into form right now. You can see that Watford team under the new manager, Nuno is not Nuno, Dilidong, what's his name, Claudio Ranieri, and they pulled a surprise victory against Everton away from home, 5-2 win. And the talisman of the show was, of course, the likes of Dennis and Josh King. And these are very good budget options, actually, that if somehow we manage, or somehow I can manage to squeeze them into my team, I could really benefit for it, because I have the likes of Ronaldo, who's hogging up a whole 12.5, 12.6 million, whereas these players cost half that price, and they're doing twice as much. They're having twice as much output in terms of points for FPL. So at this point in time, I think my team is really going through that phase where I wildcarded for the next 3 or 4 game weeks, which played out so well. But then now the 3 or 4 game weeks are done, and I'm now left with a team that needs sort of a refreshing, to be able to sustain the next few coming game weeks. And considering the next wild card is coming in January, after December, I don't know how I'm going to survive, and I really don't want to take so many hits. So I just have to hope and pray that the few players that I managed to bring in, either through that one transfer or even possibly when taking a hit, that they just come good in a really, really huge way. So I just like to invite you, of course, to be part of the Denosaurus journey. Of course, if you've seen the transfer plans I have, maybe you can help me choose which do you think is the best option. First of all, between taking a hit or just doing a one transfer, considering the transfer options I have, what do you think? Is it worthwhile taking a hit, or it doesn't make sense? Maybe I should just do one transfer or make one transfer. And which transfer is that maybe you would advise? Possibly the Vardy Aubameyang one, or the Benrahma to Mount transfer. That kind of support and that kind of contribution will go a long way to just helping me maybe be able to position my team better for game week 10. Yeah, but that's it basically for FPL Denosaurus, and how we performed in game week 9 and how we are gearing up for game week 10. I don't have much to add at this point in time, so maybe we can just link up on the next Chronicles of FPL with Denosaurus and just see how some of those decisions panned out. I'm going to do a poll on my Twitter, FPL Denosaurus, and Instagram as well, Denosaurus, just to present those transfer options and hear what kind of advice I'm able to get from you guys out there. And by Friday or by Thursday, because at this point in time also there's the challenge of when you delay to make a transfer, the player's price shoots up, and you're stuck with your nini. You're stuck with your idea, but then you can't really execute. So sometimes I know it's a bit of a risk to be able to make your transfers a bit earlier, but if possible, maybe on Thursday, latest Friday, good enough time to make those moves. So yeah, you can look out for my team on the preview show for Game Week 10, basically with the ideal guy, and we can have someone else. And yeah, we'll see how the decision I went with and how we are gearing up for Game Week 10. And hopefully Game Week 10 will be a better game week for Denosaurus, and maybe we can get some of those green arrows back. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, peace out.